that it's better to be pragmatic and realist. I see a lot of people, even here where I live, people who have who went to Medina and studied the Quran and Islam in general, and really are leading the prayer here as the imam. But after the prayer, they go to their job because they know that's not the way they can live their life. That's the reality. So that's a kind of, it's not a matter of how much time you spend in it, what you invest in it, but it's a matter of being realistic. And sometimes it's easier when you're independent, even to get to that level you're talking about, where you can have that ability to go back to what you love. But you need to do it in a time where it comes to you without jeopardizing your livelihood. So, but if you depend too much on it, there are even a risk of not doing it right, because when you think of money, you may compromise your belief because you are seeking money too much that you are no longer doing the right things. That's those kind of risks that you were seeing among our Muslim leaders in Senegal, because they want to have their talibé. Donc, seen doxalin ak yu mel noonu yu bëri di ko gis bi nga xam ne doxalin yi pour téye talibé la. That's what you were seeing also in the churches. They compromise many things because they don't want to lose people. They want to keep them. So they change the religion every day in order to make sure that people are staying within the religion. And at the end, you no longer recognize the religion. That's what you were seeing with Christianity. They try to stay popular. So that's what kind of risk. So to me, it's better not to depend on religion for your livelihood, but to make a better choice. Sometimes some people are successful, but it is not always the case.
Do you think Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was successful at it?
What do you say about him?
Do you think Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was successful at using the Quran to make a better life for himself and for his family and for the Muslim Ummah?
First, he was a prophet, and I think that's a totally different story. But everybody knows also he died poor in terms of wealth. So he was not pursuing wealth. And we know that he spent a day sometime where he was struggling with having food on the tables. So there are a lot of things that make it a little bit different. So I don't think he was thinking in terms of work. What job I have, so this, I think, the skill I have, I'm using it for a job. No, he was conveying a message. And I think that's a totally different story. So that approach is different, because I don't think he was thinking about what job I have to do.
Well, that was his job, in other words. That conveying the message was his job.
Yes. I mean, he was his job because he was assigned that job.
Right.
And I think he was a messenger. And I think he suffered for it, too. It is not really, he suffered for it. So, I think if you were lucky like you to have that background, really to have that education, the first thing I think is to apply it on yourself. But also there are that kind of duty to make dawah. But it's difficult. And there are some rules that people need to abide by to try to make it maybe right. But overall, it is part of a duty of a Muslim who has that knowledge and to share that knowledge. But I don't think that you see it in terms of job. You see it as something you practice in your life and something you have to do. But if you want to eat, you don't say, when I do my dawah, I need to be paid in order to feed my family. I don't think that was the way the Prophet was thinking. So I don't think that's the way that you should approach it.
So
unless it happened and you were in a situation where people say, yes, you want to hire somebody who will teach these children Quran and you will be paid. Those kind of things.
Right. No, I agree with you on that point. And so the question still would go back to the fact that if one is doing it according to the Prophet ﷺ and how Allah Ta'ala instructed him in the Quran, this would actually be in according to doing it for Allah and Allah alone, and counting on Allah and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala alone for the reward. He accepted it. Whatever Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala accepts, there's nothing that anybody can do about it. So
Yes.
if you do happen to have, like you said, that knowledge, then you do have that responsibility. So that
Yes, and there are many people who have that knowledge, who are physicians, who are engineers, who are doing their business, who are traders, and so it is not that people have the knowledge that they cannot do something else. Many of the companies of the Prophet did have their own businesses too. They are doing things. So, and I think it's very important to be realistic and to have that kind of understanding. What to do to survive. That does not preclude the person from using his knowledge and try to spread that knowledge and try to make sure that he's helping people. But if he rely on that to survive, that's another story. So it is no longer the goal. Is no longer I'm practicing it to share it with other people, but I'm practicing it to earn my livelihood. And that's a totally different thinking. If it happened by chance that it brings you some livelihood, or if deliberately you use your knowledge and be paid for it, that can happen too, like a teacher. But overall, I think if really that approach is, I'm doing it because that's my duty as a Muslim. You should need to separate it. I'm doing it in order to earn my livelihood.
Right.
If you count on it in order to earn your livelihood, that's why that becomes problematic. Because if it's no longer providing what you need, what to do?
Correct.
You need to live. You cannot beg from other people.
Definitely. There's definitely an agreement there also. I mean, the begging is absolutely refuted. The one who actually gives is one than who expects to live off of begging. So
so that's why I think it's very important to be strategic.
Definitely, yes. Well, and that's if you read the Fortresses of the Business Mindset series, then you'll find the stratagem there, along with the Million Stars to Self-Empowerment, Volume 2, 3.
But I'm talking about doing it.
Yeah, so that's, those books were written, and it was the next phase was to take, the various ideas from those series and put them into action. Now that's what knowledge serves. Knowledge serves as a tool for combating ignorance, for sure, doesn't it?
But my advice, I think you're still young. You
think so?
Yes.
How young am I?
What do you say?
How young am I?
When you were in Senegal, I'm trying to see what was you were very young when you come to Senegal. Now the years are going by quickly. So
exactly.
So I'm trying to.
No, alhamdulillah, I understand. I mean, somebody quoted a neighbor of ours to me, and they said that they are, they're now the successor of their father, and they're 50 years old. I said, wait, how old? And they said 50. I said, what?
I can tell you.
I said, are you sure? They said, yes.
So, if you are less than 50, around even 50,
around even 50, you still think some?
Yes, people can have many years
after
if really
50.
They are healthy,
Alhamdulillah.
very active. Yes, and do things.
Well, I know. I tell you what, from the time of Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, it only took 13 years. That's all it took in the entire, the entire peninsula It was under
Yes.
the ban of Islam. 13 years.
Yes.
You
Yes, 13
understand?
years, yes.
And then if you
So,
look at his entire military career, he did not combine. He did not spend more than 3 months worth of military career in those 13 years. You know, and that's a very, very solid and attributing a
yes.
miracle of the Prophet.
So I believe under 50, there's a lot you can accomplish.
Well,
but it's very important to be strategic about it.
Listen,
and know where the job market is.
I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I'm not going to beat around the bush here. When you talk about, things that need to be done, and you look at the government of the United States today, and those who are in the government today, the years of experience that they have, particularly those who are more recently, attaches to the administration, they don't really have that many years of experience. But if you look at a cause of a mother who went away and to simply keep her children away from the crime of the United States, going back 35 years, and then you turn around and you say, where's everybody at today? And, then, what you said earlier, the fact that, she actually simply believed that it was better that we could fall back on a Quranic culture or an African culture, like you said, because it makes a big difference. And then the reality of Isa and Abdurrahman, this also makes it clearer that she was not in a delusive stage, right? Right. So
it is a little bit complicated.
It is a little bit complicated now. It's
this is what to consider. There are one part that was the education part, building some foundation. When a person reaches a certain age, they can take that foundation and add to it. But sometimes the role of our parent is not to build all your life and your career. But in general, that is to give you that foundation. The rest, you have to develop it yourself. At some point, you all left Africa and come to the United States. When it was again, I think that's, for you, probably that's maybe more than 20 years. I don't know when you come back to the United States.
25 years to be exact.
Yes, 25 years. All those 25 years, you should consider that's your responsibility. At least you have that kind of foundation that allow you to have clear eyes and have that religion in you. But it's very difficult for anybody else to make you choices. There are a lot of people who left Senegal, have less than what you had, and came here and survive and find their way. And some people, they have religious formation, training, other education. Other people have secular education or don't have none of it, and find their way around. Because I think that's really what needs to be considered, to see the foundational piece and the rest, to see what am I adding to it. Did I do what I needed to do? For you, at least, I think you did have your bachelor degree.
I have a double master's degree.
No, I didn't know that. And you have your master's degree in what?
Well, I have a MIST, Information System Technology Management, Master's, concentration of cybersecurity, and then I have an MBA with a concentration in project management. So
you have everything, I think, to succeed. Now, if it doesn't happen, why? I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this, and that's an advice, and I really want you to consider it. Cybersecurity will be big in the coming years.
Yeah, that I agree with.
It is already, but I know that the American government is trying to push to really.
No, the facts of the matter is that it's needed. There's more activity.
Exactly.
There's more activity online than practically anywhere else.
Okay. So if I were you, you would rebuild your career around that. I believe it is possible. And even it can help Muslim too. It can help Muslim community, Muslim society, or Muslim country who need your skill, but also you are Muslim, so it makes it easier for you even to work for them. And build your skill, refresh your skill, and just apply.
Alhamdulillah.
Don't worry.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I always place it at the hands of Allah, and He does whatever He likes of it. It's not mine, it's His. Because, the situation is definitely, we only have one way to get it right in life. And the best and most assured and secured way is that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because our lives come from Him anyway. He is going to sustain us as He said that He would. And then He is going to give us death, and then He is going to revive us after death. So we have to really, really, really believe in our Maker. We really cannot compromise that part, because there are those who, unfortunately, do not understand the realities of the afterlife. And then once there, it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going on here. And that's exactly why, you're in a lot of trouble, because you don't know. You did not build that part. You neglected it, is what they're told. You neglected this appointed time, and now you're being neglected. So it's a very serious matter. And of course, in a very simple or in a very summarized way, she did, believe in Islam, and she did make the sacrifice to get, her boys out of the United States, away from the crime and death in the prison and incarcerations and overdoses. She needed to get us out of that, and she got us into Africa to have a sense of belonging in terms of culture, in terms of religion. Yeah, so.
Yes, and I think that's very strong, really. I can see many people who don't have what you have. And
because of that action, because of that effort. Even the Mbake, she got a lot out of those sacrifices.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's very important for you to think about that. And think about it. She could make a different choice and say, I'm going to take you anyway. This country have a lot of things to offer, and go for it. And you end up being a messed up person also. Who knows? Because we see what's going on in this country. So I think there are some parts that is yours, and there are some parts that was hers, and she felt she did what she think was the best she can offer to save you from that and give you the deen.
And give us the deen.
And I think the best way to reward to pay her back is really to be a good Muslim. And be a good person in society.
Jazakallah, Imam. MashaAllah, Imam.
So really, I'm encouraging you. I think the skill you have and what you learn, try to refresh it, try to adapt it, and do your best. As long as I think you're a good Muslim, you're doing the right things. Society needs also people who are skilled. Otherwise, if you're sick, who would care for you? You need people to do it. So people need to do those kind of things. So everybody needs to play their role in society and be a good Muslim.
This is true. This is true.
So it was good talking to you.
Thank you.
Really to do your best.
Yes. So I'm doing mass communication now. I'm, the platform.
But I can tell you this from the video.